All right, everyone. We seem to have the tech issues in the past now. We fixed them, hopefully. So with us, we have Upper Casserole doing the Hollow Knight, all skills, current patch, no major glitches. Take it away, man.
All right. Let's see if this works. How's everyone doing? My name's Upper Casserole. And I'm joined on comms by the one and only Allison 8-Bit. How's it going, Allison?
Going well.
Cool. And this is Hollow Knight. Today we're doing all skills, no major glitches, current patch. And yeah, the only thing I'll mention before we get started is we do have a bid war for this run, so you can choose Mila's fate, whether we're going to spare Mila or kill Mila at the end of the run. So if you're interested in doing that, get your donations in. But yeah, with that we can get started. The timer's going to start once I skip all these opening cutscenes, so I'll call it out. I'm skipping as fast as I can.
Cutscene skip important.
Yeah. All right, we'll start the timer in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck, have fun.
So, thank you. So yeah, this is Hollow Knight. This is a 2D Metroidvania. I believe it was released in 2017 by Team Cherry. It's a very, very challenging game, very punishing, very difficult, but it's a lot of fun. It's very rewarding to do well. Lots of difficult boss fights, very fun movements. I'm messing up already. Things are fine. But yeah, it's a really, really great game, and I would highly recommend it.
This category here is all skills, where we're collecting all of the skills. That includes the nail arts, the spells, the movement abilities, and we're going to use that to complete the game after we get everything.
Yeah, it's more of a community-made category. It doesn't like result in a different ending or anything of the sort. It serves as a nice sort of introductory category. Because we get all the skills, a lot of the boss fights are a little bit more manageable than they would be in something like any %. But that's the main idea here.
And yeah, the basic start here is a lot of movement. In Dirtmouth, we're going to be doing a lot of jumping because you get slowed down to walk through the town slowly.
Mm-hmm. Very important that we say hello to Elderbug here. Hey, Elderbug, how's it going? Okay, talk to you later, Elderbug.
Typically,
it's really key.
Yeah. This category originated in 1221, which is the old patch that used to be used for speedruns, and this is the current patch version. That version initially used a skip with one of the nail arts, and that was the reason to do the category in the first place. And then it got transitioned over to 1221, or to 1432 and other current patch. And now it's just a cool introductory category and has just a lot of cool movement options, since the boss fights are they're pretty easy compared to other categories.
Nice little quick kill there. You fire the stalactite at those two aspids and it one-shots both of them. Saves a little bit of time, and it looks really cool. Taking some damage here, not intentionally, but that's okay. If you look in the top left corner of the screen, you can see there's now 3 masks. There was 5. That's my health bar. And then next to that is a big glowing circle. That's my soul meter. So you fill up your soul meter by hitting things with your nail, which is my weapon. And you can use your soul to either heal yourself or to cast spells. We don't have any spells currently, but we can use it to heal, which I might do in an emergency. But for now, 3 health should be okay.
Yep, we're just making our way to the first of many boss fights in this run, which will be False Knight.
Yeah, most categories, no major glitches, start off the same way. We sort of have to go through the introductory thing and get the first couple of spells and movement abilities that every category needs. But yeah, here we come up against False Knight, our first boss. We're not going to be fighting him for very long. As it turns out, there's a dev-intended skip. You can actually break out of the arena a little bit early after you deal with the first phase here.
Yep, like every good tutorial, you need to be able to skip it.
So now that I've dealt with this first phase, he's going to go into a tantrum and he's going to damage this wall. So I can just break out of the arena. See ya, False Knight. Defeating False Knight would give us a lot of Geo and a City Crest, and we don't really need either of those things. We could use the Geo. We need a lot of Geo, which is the currency of the game in this run, but it's very slow to get it from False Knight. So we're just going to run on past.
Here's going to be our first spell of the run, Vengeful Spirit. We'll probably just end up calling it Fireball most of the time. We need this to get to the next area, because you have an enemy you can only kill with ranged attacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's sort of, as pictured here, it sort of shoots out a fireball in front of you. It deals a good amount of damage. Right now our nail deals 5 damage per hit, and the fireball currently deals 15, so it's a nice little boost.
And yeah, just through here, it's just a little bit of basic platforming, nothing too tricky. There's a couple of times when you can try and get multiple planks with one nail swing. And just dodge the enemies, dodge the hazards.
Cool little pogo off this Vengefly here. Pogoing is something we're going to be doing a lot of. If you swing your nail downwards while you're in the air, you can sort of launch yourself up, get a little bit extra height, which we're going to do all over the place.
Yep, this is the first of 2 Elder Balders. This was a 4th spit. The spits are 50-50, and we always want them to spit the Balder enemy rather than the acid spit, but never seems like 50-50 is accurate. It always feels much, much worse.
Nope. Yeah, we're gonna have another one in a little bit. I've never had too terrible RNG. I think my worst is like 7 or 8, but there's some pretty bad ones.
Double digits. I personally hit 9 on one, so.
But yeah, as we're moving up here, I'm just hitting as many enemies as I can to build up my soul meter. I need full soul here for the next Balder.
You need to get 4 fireballs, and you can have up to 3 with your soul.
Alright, first bit. That's what we like to see. So this allows us to get into the next area, which is Green Path. That's a pretty simple area because we don't have a ton of movement, but there is a couple of tricky skips, and very careful soul management is going to be needed here. Again, I need as much soul as I can get my hands on to perform a couple of fireball skips.
Yep, there's acid everywhere, there's enemies that shoot out spores, there's just a lot of stuff going on that makes this a pretty annoying area to get through in the early game.
Yeah, very easy to take a lot of incidental damage for sure. Hitting these birds to get the last little bits of soul that I need. Then we're gonna try a fireball skip here. So by shooting a fireball, it kills your vertical momentum, and it also pushes you back just ever so slightly, which lets you get onto that platform. It's actually a pretty big skip. It saves about a minute or so, I think, as opposed to walking the long way around. I'm gonna do a second one. This one saves only like 10 seconds. I messed it up. That's fine. We'll go around. They're a bit finicky and precise to do for sure. I'm gonna try the backup strat where I pogo this enemy. Nice. So that still saves a couple of seconds for sure.
Do we have a moment for me to plug the bid war for this run?
Sure, go for it.
Yeah, so right now we currently have another bid war open. It is choose Mila's fate. You can either choose to kill or spare Mila. Currently, we don't have any donations in. It's just the start of the marathon, so you can easily get one or the other. But can you explain to me how exactly that affects the run, if it does at all, choosing Mila's fate?
So typically you would spare because so you can only kill Mila towards the very end of the run, and there's no reason to ever go over there, so you typically just don't. But yeah, we can make the detour and go over there to kill her if you feel like Mila isn't best girl, and I'm pretty sure there are some people watching that feel that way. Okay, so I manipulated this Mossy Knight to jump away from me so he wouldn't get in my face, which worked pretty well. We're killing those Moss Knights for the Geo. As I said, this run needs a lot of Geo, so we're gonna just pick it up there, take this small detour.
Yeah, one of the cool things about this run is that it's one of the few that doesn't use any of the relics, like the seals and the other ones that you find throughout the world. Instead, we actually just get all the geo from enemies and various other things. And we just never sell to the person who we would normally get most of our geo from, so it's a very different route. And so this is the first boss fight. Hornet. She is not too difficult. She staggers after 6 hits. And we just always want to make sure that we're not wasting any soul and getting as many hits and fireballs on her as fast as possible. And then that will unlock our next ability once we do that.
Alright, not a terrible Hornet fight. She sort of was jumping around a lot, which you don't like to see, but these things happen. But yeah, so this gives us the Mothwing Cloak, which is our dash ability. It lets us reach a couple of other areas that we couldn't otherwise reach. It also lets us go really fast, which is key. And then I'm immediately going to save and quit. So when you save and quit in this game, it teleports you back to the last bench that you sat on. So we're using this as a sort of form of fast travel. We're going all the way back to the Ancestral Mound. And we'll actually be save and quitting back to here a second time a little bit later. It's a very useful mechanic that we're going to be exploiting all over the place.
Yep, and now we're heading over to Fungal Wastes. It has a bunch of really cool skips, and we're mostly there just to get Mantis Claw, which is going to be the ability that we really need to pretty much do anything in this game. There's not a single category that doesn't get it at some point, except for one, but...
We don't talk about that one.
And yeah, so in here there's like lots of fast movement, and we're just gathering souls so we can get ready to do a really cool skip called E-Pogo. You need to shoot some fireballs to stall in the air.
There's a million different ways to set this up with varying numbers of fireballs. I prefer the setup that uses all 3 of my fireballs, so I need a full soul meter. It's called Comfy Pogo. I find it quite comfortable, though some people, like Allison, prefer other setups with fewer fireballs.
Less soul saves time.
It's true. There we are. So yeah, you use fireballs to stall in the air there until that spore gets into the right place so you can pogo off of it.
And now we're going to try and dash at a very specific spot and set up Mantis Pogos. Ooh,
Whoops.
that's fine.
Well, I messed up the consistent setup. Let's see if we can still do this anyways. Okay, there we go. Nice backup. So yeah, you want to pogo off of those mantis to get up onto that ledge. Saves a little bit of time versus going around. There is a nice consistent setup for it, but I messed it up and then had to improvise, which is a little scary. But we made it. And then from here, we're going to save and quit again, go back to the Ancestral Mound a second time, and continue. Now we're sort of through the standard early game that most of the runs, most categories of this game do.
And yeah, now we're just heading over to do a little bit of cleanup left over in Crossroads. And from here, we're going to have a really cool skip coming up. But before that, we need to gather a little bit of soul for a very quick boss fight, and we're going to be opening up a stag station, which is the intended fast travel of Hollow Knight.
And I'm not sure whether we explained, but the Mantis Claw that we picked up allows us to do wall jumps, so it lets us actually get up high, which is really nice. And we need it all over the place. Oh no. That's fine. So yeah, we're gonna come up here to the stag station. We can unlock stags by paying some geo, and that lets us fast travel between any of the stag stations that we've unlocked. So we're gonna pay for this one, and we're gonna come back here later. Yeah, just farming a little bit of soul before this boss. You like to have 2 fireballs worth of soul going in.
Yep. We do a little sequence where you get the rest of the soul right here, and then you're gathering soul to clean off the next part. And yeah, she is just a very, very simple boss.
Yeah, one of the first bosses you should be fighting in the game. This game is very, very open-ended. There's no, like, intended order, but it's definitely one of the first bosses you can reach, so it's suitably pretty straightforward. Ooh.
Rough patterns on their spawns.
Yeah, it's a little bit of RNG there, but not a huge deal.
So now we're actually buying what is the only charm we're going to be using, and the most important one, Shaman Stone. It just does a whole bunch of stuff. It makes your spells deal 33 to 51% more damage, and increases both their size and their hitbox. Spells are going to be the main force of damage for the entire run.
I would say casually, like almost everyone used a very nail-focused build with nail-focused charms, but for almost every speedrun, we really focus on the spells because it's significantly faster to buff your spell damage. Whoops, I died. Oh no. So that was intentional. When you die in this game, you leave a shade behind, which has all of your money and some of your soul. And we're going to use our shade as a springboard to get up to Blue Lake. So that's called the Shade Skip. It's a really cool skip. I think it's probably my favorite skip in the game. It's like actually really straightforward to do. It's not too tricky, and it's such a huge skip, really. Technically not a sequence break, I guess. We could get to Blue Lake with our current movement abilities. It would just take like literally like 5+ minutes almost, I would say, to go the long way around.
And we're actually going past Dreamnail, which is something that most runs will pick up earlier. But we actually get through here later from a different spot, so...
We're just going straight to City of Tears, and we're on the right side of City of Tears, which is what that skip enabled us to reach, which is really quite impressive, I guess. It's quite a late game area, I suppose, or a difficult area to reach for sure.
Yep. And actually,
along the way here, I want to farm some of these enemies for their geo. The geo route is a little bit tight here, so shooting some fireballs to pick them off.
And we're getting even more geo, and now we're gonna go kill Gorgeous Husk, which will be a huge like boost of geo, especially this early in the run.
So I'm gonna do a thing here called I'm gonna get a bunch of double hits. So you notice these fireballs are actually hitting the Gorgeous Husk twice. So we're actually getting double damage out of our fireball. So it's a huge boost of damage. We're gonna do that against tons and tons of bosses. So as I explained earlier, our fireball deals 15 damage. With Shaman Stone, it deals 20. But since Shaman Stone also increases the size of the hitbox, it makes it a lot easier to get double hits, which is just hitting the same enemy with the same fireball more than once. So in a lot of cases, it bumps the damage from 15 to 40, which is, oh no, which is quite a power boost. I missed the skip there. I'm trying to pogo off of these background elements to get up here without using wings. There we are.
Yep, that's actually a dev-intended skip too.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we're gonna take this bench here. Nice little safety.
Yeah, I'm taking this bench for safety. Technically not required, but the next area is very dangerous, and dying would be really catastrophic. So.
Yeah, we're about to fight a really annoying enemy called a Great Husk Sentry. This thing has 170 HP, which is like, I don't think it's more than any bosses, but it makes it tied for second for the most HP on a single like regular enemy. They also deal 2 damage per hit, so it can be quite difficult, but he handled it very well there.
I'm gonna also farm a little bit of soul before we go into Full Sanctum, which is our next area. A very, very scary area. A lot of people dislike it. I enjoy the movement a lot, but it is just a RNG fiesta, which is...
Yeah, a lot of runs die here.
Yeah, there's an enemy in this area called Soul Twisters or Spell Twisters. I think it's Soul Twister.
Soul Twister,
that
yeah.
like to teleport around and just cause havoc.
Yeah,
they can teleport. They can also fire
projectiles.
homing spells at you. It's just not a good time.
The first one's gonna be right here.
Oh, all that geo went everywhere. I want most of this geo, but that's fine.
There's also a few other enemies that you'll see occasionally. Ones that are on the ground are mistakes. Ones that are in the air are called follies. And they can be quite annoying because you don't always see them before they spawn. We know where most of them should be at though, so it's not going to cause a problem, but they are a nuisance.
That went not too badly. Now we have a mini boss against Soul Warrior here.
There's actually,
Once again, just trying to get double hits with my fireballs when I can.
there's actually 2 Soul Warriors in here. This one's an easier one. The other one spawns additional enemies and has substantially more HP.
Okay, so far so good. We're still at full health, which is a good sign. And that soul twister played really nice. This next room, this room that we're entering right now, is called Hell Room. There are 3 very good reasons why. There's 1, there's reason number 2, and reason number 3.
Yeah, they are quite a nuisance.
That was actually not too bad though. They played relatively nice there. I will take that for sure. Yeah, and this brings us to Soulmaster. Flashing lights warning at the end of this fight, by the way. He's gonna do a very dramatic death animation. So if you're photosensitive or anything, you might want to not watch, I suppose.
And yeah, so of course, just like all the other bosses, it's gonna be hit with the nail to get soul, then use the soul to use fireballs, and the fireballs we ideally want to get all of them to hit twice, so we can maximize our damage and kill the boss as quickly as possible. There's a lot of different patterns, but none of them are really too difficult. And yeah, so you see here, going for the
There we are.
flashing lights warning.
So now that we've defeated Soulmaster... Oh wait, no we haven't. Fake out. Phase 2 time. Oops. Okay, missed a fireball there, but no big deal.
Hitless fight, so now we need to try to heal.
So yeah, with Soulmaster defeated, we get our next spell, which is the Desolate Dive. It's our sort of downward ground pound attack. It's very useful. We're not going to use it too much until we upgrade it, but we can use it to break through like sketchy ground, I guess.
Yeah, it'll also be our primary damage source for for most of the run.
So what I did there is called a fake dive. That's when you use like the ground pound attack to break the ground but don't fall through it. And that just saves a little bit of time because that's going to set up a second fake dive, which will allow us to not fall all the way down to the bottom of the room. So we want to break this one instead.
And the mistakes and follies are coming out to play.
They are. So fun fact, those follies, those flying enemies, are FPS dependent. So if you have a really, really high frame rate, they just zoom at you. It's completely ridiculous. So limiting your frame rate is potentially a good option when you're speedrunning this game.
Yeah, and that's true about all flying enemies too.
Yeah. Alright, so we need to leave Soul Sanctum. It would be really nice if we could just save and quit out of here, but unfortunately when you defeat Soulmaster, your save quit location gets set to right there. So we have to walk out. That's going to happen in a couple of places, but not a huge deal. Allows us to do some more fun movement, really.
Yep, and we're just going back to Watcher Spire where we were at earlier, and we're going to bench there so we can come back later with a save and quit, but that won't be for a while, actually.
Nope. Farmed a little bit of soul. And yeah, we're going to take this bench here. This bench is very, very important. We're going to go all the way to the other side of the map, really, and pick up a couple of items, and then save quit back here. Because there are a couple of things left we still need to do in Spire, but we can't do them just yet. We're missing Dream Nail as well as an elegant key to do all those things right now.
And that elegant key is even locked behind a different key.
It's true. We need to go on a key fetch quest, really. So yeah, for now we're just walking across the city. If there are any donations now, would be a good time.
Well, let's see here. Let me just refresh here on this page. We do have one $10 donation from Nelsor saying for the pets, and a $5 donation from Solar Demon that says test, test, test. This is only a test. Even if that was a test, I'm still gonna read it out loud. So let's see where that leads us. We currently have $10 to spare Mila.
Ooh,
Let's go. We should all be trying to spare Mila.
it saves time. Speaking of Mila, we're gonna see her for the first time right here. She's just mining away in the entrance to Crystal Peaks here.
I think
You
she's
can hear her humming. Or is she humming right now?
She's got a little bit of a
Oh
headache.
no, she's a little sick right now.
Mila has 3 different phases. The first is she's happy and singing. Then once you get Desolate Dive, she gets like a bit hazy. And then after you get Crystal Heart, she becomes aggressive from the infection.
Alright, so this is Crystal Peaks. Really cool movement area. A lot of cycle-based movements and just otherwise like really cool pogo strats and other things. I like this area quite a bit.
Yeah, it has a bunch of cool movement. No like skips, just a lot of good old-fashioned platforming and movement. We can do it real fast with these cycles.
Wiggles. Oh no.
Went too fast.
Yeah, apparently. Oh jeez, okay. Stuck on the wall there, that's fine, no big deal.
And here is going to be
But
the
yeah, these
shopkeeper's key.
laser cycles are all just when you enter the room. These, I don't even know what these enemies are called, but they start moving and start firing their lasers, so it's pretty predictable.
Yeah, they do have a slight offset where they can start within like 0.3 seconds, so there's like a little bit of RNG, but they are mostly going to be the same every time.
Alright, I'm gonna... Oh, too early. Trying to do Desolate Dive to save a little bit of time. That's losing that soul is actually kind of costly. A bit unfortunate, but we'll manage. Now we have this room. This is a cool laser cycle. If you just sort of go as fast as possible, you'll like not get hit by any lasers, which is kind of cool. So I just need to wait just a second here, and now we can just zoom, and all these lasers just miss us. It's great. Underplat for the fans.
Always got to go for the underplats when you can.
Oh, hello. And this gets us our next skill. This is the Crystal Heart, which allows us to do the Crystal Dash, which is a really fast and fun form of movement. Lets us just zoom through the air after you charge it up, just like this. So it lets us cross very long chasms. It's also, as I said, it's the fastest form of movement, as long as you have sufficient distance to charge it up. Around 4 dashes worth of distance, it's worth it to use a C dash.
It's also very useful because there's some skips where we can go right above some acid with it and kind of just glide over the water, which we'll be showing
what am I doing?
shortly.
I'm off of my usual crusher cycle, so got a little mixed up there.
And we gotta save the grub, of course.
Alright, so this is a dark room. I'm gonna be quiet and focus.
Yeah, so dark rooms here are something that you don't see in a lot of runs because a lot of runs get a Lumify lantern, which lights them up. And that was done expertly well. A lot of the rooms that require the lantern don't really require it. They just require you to know the room otherwise. So for us runners of these categories that don't get lantern, it makes it just another thing to learn. But it looks really cool. And so yes,
Let's mean Crystal Hunter.
similar to like Ancestral Mound earlier, this is Crystallized Mound, and we're here to get another spell upgrade. Or I guess our first spell upgrade.
Yeah, so this is the upgrade to the Desolate Dive. Desolate Dive is now the Descending Dark. It now deals an absolutely ludicrous amount of damage, and we're going to be using it in tons and tons of boss fights going forward.
It also gives you invincibility frames, so you don't die to bosses.
It's true.
Just another dive
Okay.
there to go fast.
Yeah, and now we return to the resting grounds to finally pick up the Dream Nail. Since it's right next to Crystallized Mound anyways, we can just come here right now. But yeah, we have a couple of cutscenes to mash through, some text boxes. I guess we can mention, so this game is, as you can see, we're playing in Chinese because it's significantly faster. Chinese has less characters than English, which is one thing, but it also, the text scrolls significantly faster in Chinese for some reason, and a couple other languages too, but Chinese is the fastest. So the Dreamers have banished us to this dream, I believe, and this giant glowing moth is going to rescue us. So we're just going to move along these appearing platforms, trying not to fall. Falling loses like 10 seconds. We set up a C-dash here to go zoom.
Underplat.
Yet another
too.
underplat. And now we're going to do a trick called the sear skip. So while the screen is white, I can actually pause and unpause to sort of break out of the cutscene and move during the cutscene. Pause, unpause, and I can just C-dash while asleep. You see I'm still sort of like sleeping and getting up as I was like in the air. Okay, so we're gonna get the stag station. We're gonna head back to
Dirtmouth.
Dirtmouth, actually. There were some errands to run there.
And we've got like the perfect amount of geo right now.
Yeah, we need to spend 800s to get the elegant key from Sly. The Sly we rescued a little bit earlier in the run. And now he's going to sell us the elegant key, which we need to get our next spell upgrade, actually. And then while we're here, we're going to go all the way to Howling Cliffs to pick up our first nail art, which is going to be the Cyclone Slash.
Oh yeah, Cyclone Slash is sweet.
It is really sweet. Yeah, there's 3 nail arts. The Cyclone Slash is by far the most useful, in this category at least. It lets you do a little bit extra damage. It builds up your soul meter really quickly because it does a whole bunch of really rapid hits. And it also lets you fall really quickly. If you use the Cyclone in the air, you'll just uncap your fall speed and go down really, really fast. So we're going to use it in quite a few places, really.
It also, yeah, it does like 6 hits at 6 damage, which is already a slight increase in damage. So if you get all the hits, that's 36 damage, which should kill pretty much any basic enemy that you'll encounter. And again, mostly for the soul and movement is where we're going to use it, though.
This is the Nail Master Oro, I believe. He's going to teach us how to Cyclone. And then from here, we're just going to save and quit. And if you recall that bench I took in the Watcher's Spire way back when, we're going to go all the way back there and clean up Watcher's Spire. So thank you for your nail art. See ya.
Yep, we're going to do that with all of the Nail Masters, actually.
Yeah, we do. we save quit out of every single Nail Master's house, as it turns out.
Thanks for the nail art. See ya. And so yeah, now we're back over here. We're gonna head over towards Soul Sanctum for a spell upgrade, Shade Soul rather than Vengeful Spirit, and that's what we needed the Elegant Key for.
In some other patches, you can actually skip the key entirely by doing some precise jumping and using a nail art through a wall to hit a switch, but that's been patched out, so we have to do it the old-fashioned way. But yeah, this game, so, I mean, we're playing on current patch. This game has leaderboards for both current patch and some, like, older patches, most notably 1.2.2.1. So, you know, if you don't like down patching, you can just compete on the current patch leaderboards, which I think is pretty cool.
We're charging a Cyclone right here to get all of the soul and hits in. It's great, because he just sits there.
Actually, do you mind if I ask you a question about that exact thing that you just said, Upper Casserole?
Sure, go for it.
So I did see how the leaderboards are split between 1.2.2.1 and the patch that you're running on, which is 1.5.7.8, if I'm correct.
Yep, that's right.
What exactly, like, what is the reasoning behind splitting the leaderboards? What is the difference between the versions?
So yeah, a number of things were patched out, and I'm not like super well versed on the history. I think like a lot of people have trouble running the old patch on their machines because this game isn't maybe not the best programmed game ever. So like a lot of people just can't run on 1221. So that sort of like created some incentives to create like a separate category for just current patch. And some people, like me personally, I just prefer not down patching because I just dislike it inherently. But yeah, a number of like smaller glitches were patched out. But the runs are pretty similar, I guess. Nope. Didn't want to get hit there. I didn't want to get hit there twice, but that's okay. We're going to fight our next boss, which is the Watcher Knights. A very infamous boss. They're very difficult casually. And in some categories of the speedrun, they're also very difficult. This category is not one of them. Because we have Descending Dark to Shadesoul now, we should hopefully just completely annihilate them.
What we just did there was hitting a chandelier, which automatically took one of them out too, which is used in every run for the most part.
And you can also dream nail them while they're sleeping to get full soul, which is really nice. And full health if you don't have full health like I didn't. But as you can see, Watcher Knights die extremely fast to well-placed spells. So that's just what we're going to try and do. Now, ideally, I would like these two to stay close to each other. They're very much not doing that, so that I can just kill them at the same time. All right.
Those two are all dead. Yeah, and like they spawn in as soon as one dies, the next one starts spawning in. So if you want to kill 2 and 3 at the same time, then 4 and 5 will come in at the same time as well.
Okay. Not the cleanest fight, but not too bad either. Didn't take a ton of damage, so. Sometimes that can get scary. If they get really bouncy, they have their jumping attack, which sometimes you just get hit with it repeatedly and die or take a ton of damage, but it wasn't too bad.
And they also can be annoying if they get desynced and aren't attacking at the same time, so you need to like dodge one, the other's attacking, and hard to get both of them killed at the same time when they're doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they were pretty nice overall.
So our reward for beating the Watcher Knights is our first Dreamer. So this is the first of 3 Dreamers. You need to defeat all of them to sort of unlock the final temple in the game to actually beat the game. But they're basically just big punching bags that just sit here and let you absorb them. But yeah, this is a great time for some more donations, or a stretch break, or hydration break, which is what I'm going to do. This cutscene is rather long.
And like with defeating Soul Master, here we're actually be having to exit manually because getting a Dreamer will reset our spawn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we would love to once again be able to save and quit out, but our save quit location gets set to right here when you eat the Dreamer. But it does let us show off some cool Cyclone movement, so I'm going to start charging some Cyclones and using them to fall quickly, as you can see.
Do we have time for one donation here?
Sure, go for it.
We have a $100 donation from Yuli Stream saying, I think that makes a good Christmas gift for our doggo friends. Love you all and have a nice marathon. Thank you so much, Yuli Stream. And that donation actually went towards choosing Spyro's skin for Spyro the Dragon Reignited Trilogy. So if you want to try and beat that donation to get a different skin on, make sure you get those donations in. And also, how far are we close to closing the Choose Milo's Fate incentive?
Still like half an hour, probably.
All right, wonderful. So get those donations in.
Mm-hmm.
So here we're about to go to what is probably the coolest skips in this run. We have a spike tunnel, where you're going to be pogoing off of spikes and then dashing through. Perfect first try. And then up next is going to be the acid skips I was talking a little bit about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
All of these sections require having the crystal dash. And with Mantis Claw you can actually grab onto the wall and then charge a C-dash. And then just glide right above the acid. Perfectly done.
Yeah, the intended way to do that is to involves fighting an extra boss, going into the waterways. It takes a really long time, so that skips quite a bit. And then I got hit on that by that form on purpose to, as you can see, I'm moving during this sort of get skill animation. So yeah, you hit that Whorp on purpose to lure him over, to hit you out of that cutscene, really.
Yep. And now we are just heading down to our next movement ability, which is going to be Monarch Wings. But there's a couple things in our way first. First, this broken bridge, which we're going to do a C-dash here, but the enemies can be quite rude and...
Yeah,
just
sometimes
like
they're in your way, a lot of times they aren't, so we try, and sometimes they hit you. But not a big deal. I got through the acid skips without taking any damage, which is really nice, so... I have a comfortable amount of HP right now.
And here's going to be a cool cyclone.
So here I'm going to pay to unlock this bench, and then immediately leave the room, because it skips the bench appearing animation. It's slightly faster to leave the room and come back than it is to just watch it appear. But we want this bench for a save quit in a little bit after our next boss. Next boss being Broken Vessel. It's a cool little fight. So at this point we have all of our upgraded spells. We have our upgraded Fireball and our upgraded Descending Dark, and they both deal just tremendous amounts of damage if you use them properly, so we're just gonna try to do that, really.
And there's these patterns for these things which are fairly consistent. Fairly.
Yeah.
Commentator's curse, I guess.
Oh, I got through that one. I should heal first, I guess. Probably didn't need to take that extra soul farming, but might as well. Marathon safety, I guess. But yeah, you can just stand right next to that Monarch and get completely full health and completely full soul. They have so much HP, you'll never kill them with your nail.
Alright, so this is Broken Vessel. One of the cool things is that these, what are they called? Life seeds? You wanna,
I think so, yeah.
Yep, you want to kill them first because the boss starts their fight once they're all gone. So yeah, there's pretty much 3 phases here. They jump, they headbang, and they dash at you. We want the headbang to attack the most because we can get full damage Descending Darks.
You're still alive? Okay, there we go. It was one nail hit away. But yeah, the way Descending Dark deals damage, there's 3 chunks of damage. There's like the initial impact, the first shockwave, and the second shockwave. And like all together it deals 88 damage, but a lot of the time like your first shockwave will knock them out of the second shockwave, for example. But when Broken Vessel does that one attack, they're rooted in place, so you can just D-Dark right on top of them and get the full damage. And it adds up really, really quickly. And then just that combined with double hitting fireballs means all of our spells are basically dealing 80 plus damage.
Yep, and what we just picked up was Monarch Wings, which is our double jump ability. It actually has a really interesting like property to it where when you're trying to do the second jump, it'll like dip you down for a second, so it can make certain jumps a bit tricky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it takes like a little bit of getting used to like how it works properly, I guess.
And yeah, now we just have to do a big C-dash here to open up the hidden station, which I think was actually added in one of the DLC patches. It wasn't in the base game.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Also here we're doing a trick called look down. So you see I'm looking down, and that makes this bell appear more quickly. It makes 0 sense, but by looking down with precise timing, you can make that bell appear like literal seconds faster. Why this works, nobody knows.
And now we're back in Dirtmouth for the 3rd time.
Yeah, something like that. We're heading over to our next, next boss, which is going to be Umu. Hit that guy for a couple of hits of soul so that I can do a Descending Dark in this room.
Which is just way safer than any other movement we have there. And yeah, now we're just heading over to Umu, and we have to do some fun section with a lot of enemies in this next room, but there's a really cool cyclone drop.
Yeah, this rim's really good when executed properly. Let's see if we can actually do it. What? I feel like you usually go through that jellyfish. Maybe I need to be a little bit further over.
We're still fine though.
Yeah, not a big deal. Well, I actually was going to bench because I'm at 3 HP, but whatever. I guess we're just not benching. It'll be fine. Oh, okay. Well, now... a little less fine. So I'm just going to farm this enemy for some soul real quick.
Yeah, usually the section's not too bad.
Yeah, just trying to a bit too aggressive farming soul there, unfortunately.
So here we're actually going for a quick kill to kill in one phase. It's really not too bad, but we need to mostly get Umu to be lured to the right spot.
Yeah, Umu can't be damaged until like they choose to become vulnerable, basically. So we're just sort of luring them over to the right area and waiting.
It can be a bit tricky, but it looks like we're maybe a little high.
Really?
Missed a double on that, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty uncommon, actually. So that was executed perfectly, but just I missed a double hit. One of those fireballs needed to hit twice, and it did not, unfortunately. So, bit unfortunate, but these things happen.
And Umu is an RNG-based enemy, or boss fight, so there's, depending on how far they move, depends on how many attacks they do. There could be an extra like that right there.
Yeah. Pretty simple
But still not too
two-cycle.
bad. It's really easy to mess things up and have things go drastically wrong.
Yeah. It's a perfectly executed movement there to get up to bottom on here. This is our second dreamer. Just like the first, we're gonna beat them up and then watch a 20-second cutscene. Yeah, in some of the older patches, like I believe in 1221, you can actually skip this cutscene, but in current patch you can't. Personally, I really like this because I like taking stretch breaks. So.
Yeah, this section, again, will also set our spawn to this area, but we're gonna bench at the top of the archive here. If we take a little bit of damage on the way, it won't matter since we're benching anyway. And then we're going to do a little bit of cleanup in this area before we head to the last dream.
Yeah, we have a couple of skills we need to pick up. We need to pick up Great Slash, which is our next nail art, which is from Green Path. And then we also need to pick up the Howling Wraiths from Queen's Gardens. But yeah, I really like the movement in this section as well. Both leaving Teacher's Archives and then after just navigating through Fog Canyon and Green Path. It's a lot of fun. We have wings now, so wings movement is just pretty satisfying to do.
Yeah, the wings just like... A cool thing is whenever you pogo something, you get back your wings jump and your dash, so you can get some really cool movement when you combine all that together. Since you can pogo background objects, it just makes some really satisfying
So yeah, we take that bench to save quit back here in a little bit after we pick up our next nail art. Also, yeah, these large jellyfish, like when you hit them, they explode. But if you hit them down into water, they will just not explode, which is rather nice. That's what I did there. Now we have our next boss fights, Massive Moss Charger,
Cool little background pogo.
which
Ooh,
should
really
go
tricky.
very, very well if we do it right. That's the fight. We just beat them up for their 300 geo. It's a quick source of 300 bucks.
You
Oh,
are
yeah,
a
I
bit
am
short on
pretty low,
geo.
actually,
You'll
you're
probably
right.
need to get some geo rocks.
Yeah, the geo route in this category is pretty tight. I think I actually missed some enemies in City that I usually kill. But anyways, It's not a huge deal. We can back it up with some geo in the late
Yeah.
game.
I think some people have been route it where you just get the rocks instead, because killing enemies on the in city can be kind of slow.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, lots of sea dashes here because it's big stretches.
Yeah. Yeah, Nailmaster Shio lives in the absolute middle of nowhere. In this far corner of Green Path.
Get ready for some intense music for like 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Then we do a short little skip here. You can just wings up past the spikes there, rather than going around. But this brings us to Shio and our next nail arts. The Great Slash we're going to use literally 1 time in the run.
And it is used so we stop our movement when we're in a spot where we are falling.
Mm-hmm.
It might be used accidentally a few times.
That always happens. If you forget to hold up and down when you're trying to cyclone, you'll accidentally Great Slash, which has never happened to anyone ever.
And coming up, we're going to be heading into Queen's Garden. We've got a pretty big section to get through.
And a pretty difficult skip to do right here. This is the Queen's Garden Acid Skip, a very infamous skip. Whew, first try. So of course we have Isthmus Tier. A lot of categories will skip Isthmus Tier, and they have to do a really tricky acid skip there with C-Dash, but as we have Isthmus Tier, it's actually really you just swim through the acid and it's fine.
The best is when you make the first try joke and then you bump into the spikes.
That may or may not have happened during one of my practice runs for this marathon.
Oh, and it was the funniest.
Weird little bit of geometry there. You can just C-Dash off of that wall.
And this is going to be a little arena. You just got to kill a bunch of the squids, which are the mosquito enemy, which are quite annoying. This is obviously like a super basic arena, but it can get out of hand very easily.
It really can. Okay.
And we had full health getting out of here, so we don't need to worry about healing. Every time you pick up a new spell, you actually get full soul, so you want to heal before, if you have any damage on you.
Mm-hmm. So this is Howling Wraiths. This is our up spell. Once again, we're not really going to use it until we upgrade it, but once upgraded, it is going to be our most powerful spell.
Yeah, only used against the final boss, but it's still super good there.
Oh yeah.
It can hit like 4 times, and each hit deals 30 damage, which makes it the most powerful spell once upgraded.
Mm. Guess I'll snag this Geo.
And yeah, so this is just Queen's Garden, which is a very annoying section. There's lots of enemies that fly. This is usually a lot harder, but with Shade Soul, it almost becomes a joke, especially when you get doubles like on the second Petra Mantis over there.
Yeah, those Petras have less health on older patches, actually. Why am I doing this C-Dash? That is a really risky strat that I usually don't do. I don't know why I went for it there.
Just blame the muscle memory.
Yeah. But yeah, those Petras, those flying like Mantis enemies have less health on older patches. They only have 40 health, whereas on this patch they have 45, which is...
Yes. Which, it's just 1 nail hit, but that's enough to cause a lot of problems sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, that's the difference between a Shade Soul killing and a Shade Soul plus a nail, so... And so now we're going to be hitting Deep Nest, which is kind of a scary area, and it's going to be a little bit scarier because it's completely dark.
Yeah, we still don't have the Lumify Lantern. It's a very expensive item that we don't have the Geo for,
Yeah,
so...
1800 Geo is just not worth going out of the way to get, so... luckily we know the whole section and shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Yeah, I would personally say the Crystal Peaks one, though much shorter, is like probably the more difficult of the two dark rooms. This one's like pretty straightforward. There are spikes everywhere, and it's like you can mess it up pretty easily, but it's not too bad really, in my opinion at least.
And now we're making our way up to Beast Den, which is where Hera, the last of our dreamers, is at for us to pick up.
Mm-hmm. And we have another dev intended skip. So you're supposed to sit on this bench, and then all these cultists will trap you in the Beast Den, but with dash and wings, you can just enter the back door and completely skip all of Beast Den.
Yep, and the fact that that thing is even open, there's a second way out that you get later. Like, since it's even open at all, it has to be intended.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so yeah, still a bit of Geo short.
Is it... The one Georox has enough, right? Or do I need both?
I don't know. Just ones do.
Like, I know the one in
I think
Kingdom's Edge is... It's 40-something. I don't know how much. I guess I'll just grab them both and be safe.
Yeah. Yep. We need Geo for two more things. We need to buy one more stag station, which we use to get back to City of Tears, and we also have the last nail art actually costs Geo, and quite a substantial
amount. It's 800
amount too.
Geo for the final nail arts. But that's the last streamer, so we can now go and beat the final boss, but we still have some skills to pick up first.
And probably the real final boss of the run.
Yeah, also true. Where is the Georock? Is it here? Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's just enough. Okay, cool.
Yep, perfect.
Except I'm going the wrong way. So yeah, we now have 1050 Geo, which is as much as we need to finish the run, so that'll work.
Yep.
Yeah, Geo is like somewhat random.
Go
like enemies, they get defeated and they drop Geo, but it sort of scatters all over the place. So sometimes you just have more or less, and you just gotta farm a little more or less, as the case may be.
Yep, we head to City of Tears now, so we can head over to Kingdom's Edge, which is the second to last section we're going to be seeing in this run.
So I kill that husk just to farm a bunch of soul. I like having soul in this section. It saves actually quite a bit of time. Because we can use a couple of spells to blow open some breakable walls.
Yep, we're going to go up and get a bench, then we're going to go get the nail art, save and quit, and then go back to the bench. Just as the cleanest way to get through this
And
section.
also just like really nice because it gives us a bench before Hornet 2, which is a very, very difficult boss.
And also make sure we have full health going into that fight.
No soul though, unfortunately. Because you lose all your soul when you save quit, but
Yep.
that's alright.
I mean, if you're going to walk back up, there's a chance you'll get hit and have to use that soul to heal anyway. Yep, we need to get a little bit of soul just to make sure we have enough to do this dive right here. Make it nice and clean through. And yeah, the 6 soul, 3 was so we can use a spell to break the entrance to the campsite, the bench, and then the other one was for that. There's these great hoppers, but I don't think they're personally very great.
Who came up with this name? That's it. 800 Geo for the final nail art. We have 2 Geo left over.
Perfect. Can we just give them a tip?
I wish. Unfortunately, we can't.
Just let's just donate the last 2 Geo.
And once again, thanks for the nail art. See you later. Okay, so now we have Hornet 2, which is the sort of probably the hardest boss in the run. She's very small. She's very fast. She's difficult to hit with spells optimally. I'm personally am not going to be talking. I'm going to be trying to focus as much as I can, so I can get away from you very, very quickly.
Some cool movement right here. But yeah, Hornet 2 has 700 health, and she's a lot like the first Hornet, but she has some additional attacks and is substantially faster. She can also parry. The main strategy we're going for here is whenever she does the nail throw, we want to use this descending dart, and we're trying to just keep her staggered as much as possible and get her hits in. She sets out these things, which can get in the way, and if you're not paying attention, they can spawn on top of you. And yeah, luckily with fireballs, when you stagger her with that, you can get extra hits in, and it won't actually wake her up like anything else. Like if you use a D-Dark when she's in that kind of spot, she will unstagger, but yeah, she staggers at 7 hits if you do it quickly enough, or 13 if you're slow, but should be 7 most this time, but there we go.
Yeah, not too bad.
Only got hit twice.
Yeah, it was like this was the fight I was most worried about coming to the marathon. So glad that got through that. It was actually pretty clean. Yeah, not bad at all.
So this here is the King's Brand. This is our entrance into the Abyss, which will be the final new area we have.
Yeah, we need to get two skills from the Abyss: the Shade Cloak as well as the Abyss Shriek. And when we pick up the Abyss Shriek, that is when we're going to be cutting off the spare or kill a Mila incentive, so that's probably in like 5 minutes or so. So if you want to snipe that bid war, get your donations in now.
You heard him.
If there are any donations, now's a good time. We just have a long walk back to King Station.
Unfortunately, no new donations, but like Upper Casserole said, if you want to snipe that last bit to get your choice for the bid war. Right now, spare Mila is at $10. So all you gotta do is donate $10.01 to have Mila killed.
Wow, I got essence from that bat exploding. I've never actually seen that before, and that's really funny. So enemies in this game will randomly drop essence. Essence is used in some of the other categories, not in this one, but it's sort of fun to just get essence. So we typically say the run is blessed when you find essence in cool spots.
And the Abyss is an important area that we're heading to right now because it has the last two things we need, which are the Abyss Shriek, which is our upgrade to our Howling Wraiths, and Shade Cloak, which is an upgrade to our Mothwing Cloak. We're gonna gather a little bit of soul here.
Yep, just use a Cyclone. We need some soul to do some descending darks because the Abyss is very, very tall and we just want to fall through it as fast as we can. So yeah, set up your D-Darks so that you don't hit any of the platforms, which isn't too tricky. And then now we have the sibling climb.
Oh yes, the sibling climb. It's a lot safer than it looks usually, but if you slip up just a little bit, you get hit. The siblings will each deal 2 damage to you, and you do not want to get hit too many times or else you can die here. This has killed a lot of runs, or at least caused large time losses. Because without benching, it can be scary. Oh,
I meant to get the other soul jar as well. That's fine, we can just do a Cyclone. Ideally, we would have D-Darked to fall down there as well, but not a big deal. So yeah, that's the sibling climb, and now we can go get our Shade Cloak. And when I pick this up, I'm gonna immediately save and quit. My save and quit location is gonna be set to just like right here, but it's slightly faster than watching the cutscene. So we just save and quit and spawn in the exact same location, really. But yeah, now our Mothwing Cloak is upgraded. You can see every like second or third dash I'm doing, I'm like coated in blackness, and that makes me immune to damage while you're dashing. So you can dash through enemies and that sort of thing.
Yeah, will come up a lot in the final boss fight, as well as being useful for getting through a few sections in the rest of the game, but we're not going to use it for anything else really. It's just a requirement for this category at this point. And we're on our way now to get a Fist Streak.
Ooh, a little too close there. All right, and with that, we're cutting off the spare kill incentive.
All right, looks like the final verdict is to spare Mila.
I mean, Mila is best girl, so.
Save the frames.
Okay.
And so now we need to exit. And unfortunately, with our spawn set at Shade Cloak, we need to climb out of here manually, which is quite tricky. Lots of really cool platforming involving spike jumps, enemy pogos, and just very precise movement. If you get hit here, the hazard respawns are not very kind. You can lose a bunch of time.
Ooh, unfortunate. Not a big deal, though. But yeah, you get set back quite far when that happens.
Yeah, for some reason, there's just a very limited amount of hazard respawn locations for us to get on the way out.
Okay, not too bad.
And so now all we have to do is, well, I guess we're not killing Mila, so I guess we're just heading to Black Egg Temple.
Yeah, we just have the final boss fight left. I'm gonna make a, well, we have to go to Dirtmouth, but I'm gonna sit on the bench in Dirtmouth just to heal up there. Before we go and fight the Hollow Knight. Spoiler warning.
Wait, our
No.
character is not the Hollow Knight? Common misconception, I suppose.
That's like the same thing
Yeah,
as
it's the
thinking that
Samus
Link
thing,
is
or
Zelda.
the Metroid thing, right? Okay, I'm gonna do a glitch here. This is Helicopter Knight. You can enter this cutscene while cycloning, and then this happens, which is hilarious. This strictly loses time, but it's totally worth doing. Yeah.
Knight goes spinning. So here we're just breaking the chains.
Yeah, this
Nothing
I have
bad
a
can happen,
real
right?
good feeling about this.
Gotta help our big sibling out.
So this fight, we're mostly just gonna try and shriek him to death. Shrieks deal just absurd amounts of damage.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of different attack patterns that they could have, but ideally we dodge most of those. Shaded Cloak is super useful, and yeah, like everything we got from the Abyss is just most of our use case in this fight.
That is a lot of
That is
parries.
a lot of parries in a row. And yeah, there's like 4 phases. This is the second stagger phase. This is the one where they're going to start attacking themselves. We can get some free heal and free soul out of it.
When the Hollow Knights stabbing themselves, they take like almost no damage from attacks, which is a bit unfortunate.
Yep. So you want to save your spells for after that phase.
I should have tried to go for a screen skip. That's fine.
That was the last of the screens before they're dead. But there we go.
And that's the fight. So time's coming up pretty soon. It's the when you see the little loading icon in the corner after this, like before this cutscene starts playing, I'll call it out. Oh, is this gonna be sub-hour? That's close. I think we got it. There we go. That's time.
GG's.
Yeah, GG's.
Good job, Upper.
yeah, so that's Hollow Knight. I hope you enjoyed this speedrun. Stay tuned. There's a lot of awesome runs coming up. If you're interested in learning Hollow Knight speedrunning, there's tons of resources on the speedrun.com page. There's a speedrunning Discord. There's the community for Hollow Knight is really, really great. And yeah, I speedrun this game on my own channel, so you can give me a follow. You can also give Allison 8-Bit a channel. You can give her a follow as well. She also speedruns this game.
That is true.
But yeah, since we're a little bit behind, I'll just end it there. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, everyone, and take care.
Thanks for having us.
All right, thank you so much. Stay tuned, folks. We're going to come up next with Invisible Ink by R30 Hedron.